Let me show you how to properly set up and use your iPhone 17. In this video, we'll also check out all the new features on this phone. Also this year, we get 256GB of storage in the base variant, which is absolutely awesome. So first, let's check out our phone. And this over here is a fully black version, but in my opinion, it actually looks more like very dark gray instead of black. So you see, when it comes to design, it actually looks also very similar to the past iPhone 16. But when you actually hold this phone in hands, it feels very solid. Also, yeah, when it comes to build quality, this feels mega premium actually. Inside the box, we also get our charger lead here, and also our SIM card ejector tool. Also, quick manual and paperwork here as well. So let's check out our phone. So you see on the back we get two cameras, so this over here is the main camera and this is the ultra-wide camera. Also we get very nice flash as well on this phone. And the back of this phone actually is fully glass, so you have to actually be kind of careful with it. You see also very nice reflective Apple logo here. Again, I like basically the texture of this phone. It doesn't marks and leaves any fingerprints. So yeah, I think the design of this phone is absolutely amazing. So also here we have our action button that we can use to quickly launch any actions that we can set. Also the volume up, down, and our SIM card tray over here. By the way, if you are in the United States, you actually do not get physical SIM cards, so you will have to install eSIMs in this phone. So on the top, we do not have anything much here. On the bottom, we have our speaker, microphone port, and also our Type-C. So yep, this phone gets the newest Type-C port. If you are coming basically maybe from iPhone 14 and older models, you obviously only get a Lightning. But yeah, absolutely awesome we get on this phone. Also, we have our power button here and our camera control here. So to power on your phone, so simply press and hold this a bit. Okay, as you will see your Apple logo, and we are going to wait a bit. In the meantime, maybe let's insert the SIM card. So you see, you have this like tiny hole here. So inside the box, we're going to take basically the SIM card ejector tool, and we're simply going to basically insert in this hole and press in a bit. So you see our SIM card tray actually pops out. And to insert your SIM card, we have to simply observe the design. As you see on the left corner, you have like tiny like triangle. On your SIM card as well, as you see, you have like a tiny triangle on this side. So to insert it, so simply put it inside like this, and simply let's slide inside. Okay. And make sure it's all the way in and completely flush. Okay, as you see, our phone has booted up now, and you can simply swipe up, select your language here first, and also your country and region. Okay, also choose your appearance here. So you can also basically transfer your data from your old iPhone, but we can also later do it in the settings as well. So we can click this setup without another device. So you can also customize basically the keyboard here. And we are going to connect to our Wi-Fi network to fully set this up. So simply click on your Wi-Fi network, and we are going to need to enter the password here. And then simply tap this to join the Wi-Fi network. Let it connect. And next we're simply going to wait a bit. Okay, we can also update our software, or also we can do it later in settings if you do not want to do it now. Okay, select your age range here, and you can also set up your Face ID here. And the Face ID sensor on this phone is located in this like black part of your screen, so that's why it has this large cutout essentially. Also you see you have the light flashing, so that is the Face ID sensor. So once we click continue, you'll simply need to show your face to your phone, and it will simply scan you, and you'll be able to later unlock your phone. Or you can also set this up later, or you don't even need, if you do not want. Also, you can set up iPhone password here. So every time basically you want to unlock, it will ask for a password. So if you do not want this, you can simply click passcode options and click don't use passcode here. Yep. Or again, we can also set this up later in the settings. So again, we can transfer date, or again, let's click this, and next we're going to enter our Apple account like email and password. If you don't have one, you can simply click here to create the account. But I'm simply going to click here and enter my email and password. And in this step, if you already have an iPhone, it might ask you to confirm that indeed you are actually the owner of this account. So you will get like a prompt basically on your old iPhone with this code that we simply need to copy here. Okay. It will confirm it, so simply wait a bit. As you see, successfully sign in here. Okay, so terms and conditions, probably no one's going to read that. Simply wait till it sets up. Okay. Enable your Apple Intelligence here. Okay, as you see, we have our iPhone ready here, and we can start using it. Also, what's absolutely awesome, the iPhone 17 this year also even gets always on display. I will show you how to set it up and customize a bit later. I will also show you how to change the design of your phone and lock screen as well. So first, if I swipe from my right corner over here, I can actually pull up basically all my quick settings here. Also, you see we get this new iOS 26 glass design. If I swipe like this, you see just how it looks like. But personally, in my opinion, it's actually quite hard to overuse this stuff. So when it comes to visibility, I think it's actually rather terrible. And if I swipe from my left side, I can launch my notification center where you can see all the notifications. By the way, if you're wondering if you can actually get rid of this very transparent glass design, I see it's actually not very good when you actually view it. It's hard to see it. So completely, we actually can't get rid of it, but we can actually significantly improve basically how it performs and basically how easy it is to actually overview and use it. So we can simply go in the settings, then find your accessibility settings here, display and text size, and make sure to enable this reduce transparency. So if we check now, as you see, we do not have the terrible transparency, and we can actually much easier basically interact with our phone. So also it's much better for your eyes as well. So as you see, yeah, definitely much better when it comes to visibility. So yeah, when it comes to style and usability, I think this is incredibly huge step backwards compared to the past iOS system. And next, if you want to customize how your phone looks like, so we can simply press and hold on any blank space on our screen, and you see it will start to shiver like this. So for example, you see you can also like quickly now like remove any apps from the home screen you do not want, or any widgets. So see how nice. Also, obviously we can move around these things now here freely as you want. So if you want to basically change the layout, so we click over here on the edit. So click customize, and see you can also like change different color themes here. And also if you toggle this like sun here, you see you can also enable or disable the darker mode here. So also we have this new clear view, but again, in my opinion, so this is now almost like impossible to see what are those apps. So you see, if I have the clear on the light, it even makes it worse as well. So also you see, we can also tint these just as you want. So yeah, actually pretty cool. Or also I see you can also click this, and you can also like remove the text basically from the icons here as well. And once you're satisfied, so again, simply click here, for example, and you see we have our new system here. Also you see, I do not think this phone is actually also as smooth basically when it comes to operating system. Sometimes basically, yeah, it shows that it's actually not as smooth as the previous iOS. And if you want to customize your lock screen or the wallpaper, again, so while we are in the lock screen, so press and hold, and you see you can click customize here. And you see you can, for example, drag around this clock to make it just as you want. Add some widgets here. Okay. So add whatever you want. Okay. Like the light mode, dark mode here. And also this depth effect here. Okay. And also you see, you can also like customize basically here as well. Also you can customize these quick launch things here as well. Okay, so we have the remote first to see. Then you can, for example, quickly add something here that you can quickly launch from your lock screen and then basically click done here. Okay, so you see we have the new lock screen here now. And also this changes the always on display appearance as well. As you see, we can quickly hold something to launch any app here. Also, if you're wondering if on this iPhone we finally get maybe like button navigation or any universal reliable way how to go back, then nope, I have some bad news. So anyway, let me show you the navigation and how it works basically on these phones. So for example, first, if you want to open all your background apps, so you would simply use this right corner here and you would simply swipe up a bit. So you see swipe up, hold, and then simply like swipe on the right side a bit to reveal basically all your like apps running in the background. So again, simply swipe like this, so you see you have all the apps. Then, for example, if you want to close, so you see you can simply swipe up just like the normal. Also, what's absolutely awesome, you can also even use 2 fingers here as well. So you see you can also like close multiple apps as well by using 2 fingers. So if you basically are wondering how to go back in the menus, so it obviously will still depend on each individual app, so compared to Android. So for example, if we go in the settings, so over here, for example, see you have your back button over here. Also, these back buttons also have been actually improved basically in this new iOS. Previously, they were actually very tiny and they were hard to press. So at least that's better. Also, in a lot of apps, you can also swipe from around this area of your phone to also kind of go back. So you see, but again, so this is actually still not very reliable. And I would say maybe like half of the app still actually doesn't support this swiping from the left side to go back. And probably the biggest change on the new iPhone 17 compared to the older iPhones is actually in the display. So first we get 6.3-inch display. So if you compare, for example, the iPhone 16, 14 or 15, so a much bigger display. But also if you check the overall dimensions, this feels pretty much the same really. So you see the bezel size is incredibly small on this phone, but as you see on these ones, the bezels obviously are quite much thicker essentially. Also, not only that, the brightness also is considerably better. So we get 3000 nit brightness on the screen, and it's meg good basically outdoors in direct sunlight, versus these obviously, yeah, not as good obviously. Also, probably the biggest change is actually the refresh rate on these phones. So we get also 120 Hz display basically on the new iPhone 17 versus only 60 Hz on all previous base iPhones. So again, all the basically animations, basically when you interact with the phone, it feels just so much smoother basically, solely thanks to this new display essentially. Also, not only we get upgraded camera tech on this phone, so also we get a new 48 megapixel ultra-wide camera. When it comes to the main camera, I suspect it's the same sensor, but actually when comparing the performance of this camera versus the past iPhone 16, I feel actually the processing is also a tiny bit better. So actually there is even improvement even though the sensor is the same. But again, this ultra-wide will give you like way better results. Also, this new selfie camera also has been completely changed, and I think out of any phone, it's really the best selfie camera out of any phone. So I'll show you that a bit later. So also the camera app has been completely redesigned as well here. So you see when we actually enter it, this is how it looks like. However, when it comes to negatives, for example, see when I start to record videos, again, this transparency, again, it simply disturbs you quite a lot. So you see this button. So I'm not sure if you can tell in the video, but again, in real life, it's actually quite disturbing. So also if you want to change settings, so you can simply go over here and you see you can quickly, for example, change your exposure here and stuff like that. So when it comes to the camera modes, so you see you can simply swipe now like this to change between the different camera modes. Okay. And if you want to switch to selfie mode, so you would simply press this button over here and we are in the selfie mode. So also what's absolutely revolutionary about this selfie camera on this phone actually is a sensor. So we are actually getting like completely unique sensor unlike on any other phone. So on most phones, so you see basically the selfie camera sensor would be basically something like this. So we can actually film basically in this variant, but obviously that's not a very ergonomic if you basically want to shoot videos basically in different mode. So on this phone, the sensor actually is essentially completely square. So yeah, not good drawing, but yeah, basically what that allows to do is we can simply press this button over here and you see we can actually still hold our phone like this and it will actually film in this mode. So yeah, absolutely insane feature here. And again, also much better stabilization as well, since obviously we have much larger sensor compared to other phone sensors in this phone, so you can crop in better and provide insanely better stabilization than other phones. Also another cool camera feature for this phone, if you go in the settings, enable this dual capture, you can essentially record with both your cameras at the same time, so your selfie camera and also the rear camera as well. So you see, for example, if we start recording a video, so you see I'm recording basically video with my main camera, but also I can basically see myself here. Also you see I can also freely move this camera around here, so just as I want. So your final video will obviously include both videos at the same time. Unlike maybe on a Samsung phone, we actually can't save this in two separate files, which is, I think, a bit limiting. But yeah, still actually very cool feature here as well. By the way, if you want to unlock the best performance of your camera and also change some settings, so we actually have to do it from the settings app. So still Apple is not actually giving us the direct access to the whole settings. So you see, for example, you can change resolution here, but essentially every time you actually exit this app, it will actually reset to the default one. So again, the quality won't be actually that good. So we can simply go in the settings and find our camera settings. So it's still a bit ridiculous why there's giving this. Also you see we can also enable or disable this camera control feature here as well. Also change the photographic styles, so you can change basically how your image actually will look like. And also I highly suggest you to go in the record video. So by default it's set at this, which is only full HD, so absolutely ridiculous. So if you do not notice, again, so you're probably wondering why the videos aren't the best, so simply go over here, enable at least this 4K 30 frames per second. The 60 frames per second, obviously you'll get smoother frame rate, but that will eat up like double the space. And again, for most people that's not really needed, so probably stick with this one. Also you see you can enable or disable your stabilization here. And also I suggest you to disable this feature. So by default this HDR video is enabled. Essentially that allows to capture basically maybe more details in shadows, but actually I find it actually messes up the video, and especially if you view it on a computer or any device that doesn't support this HDR, the video quality looks way worse. So again, overall processing again for this isn't very good, so make sure to disable it if you want the best video quality, in my opinion. As you see, you can also change various settings here as well. And also make sure to go in the preset settings here and also basically set this to whatever you need. So essentially after every time you exit the camera app, you can simply make sure these settings are saved. Otherwise they will reset to the default again. So this is what you should do. And also, as you see, you can also enable some helper tools for composition. So maybe like grid level here, and also a bunch more things. But in my opinion, these grid levels are actually quite disturbing, so I would leave those off. Also, if you can't find the specific app you have on your phone, so there are two ways how to search. So you see you have this tiny thing over here on the screen that you can click and search for basically any app you want, or also you can simply swipe like this. You see all the apps categorized here, so you can simply like this, like swipe down to reveal basically all the apps we have. So you see also what the new design looks here, or also I can type in basically to search for any app. By the way, also if you want to improve the camera performance even further, I suggest to download this app in the App Store, Final Cut Camera. So this is actually official camera app from Apple that allows to even unlock even better video quality and get even more controls. Also, we have multi-camera control here as well, so you can actually connect basically this phone to other phones and basically view. Also, when it comes to the settings and what we can do, so yeah, obviously this is way more advanced basically. Also, compared to older iPhones, this new iPhone also gets significantly faster charging speeds as well. So essentially, if you fully deplete this phone, it can charge from 0 to 50% in only 20 minutes. But also, when using this phone, obviously we also need more powerful charger, so this phone can charge up to at maximum 40 watts. So basically, the first time you plug it in, obviously it will draw more power and it will drop basically. But again, so if you want basically these rapid charging speeds, make sure you obviously have like decent power adapter that supports basically this. Also, as you see on the home screen, we can even see basically the time it will take basically to charge up, for example, 80%, and also show to 100% as well once we are basically nearer that. Also, this new phone also gets a bunch of battery saving features as well. So if you want to prolong the lifespan, so let me show you basically what you need to do. So we are going to go in the settings, then click your battery settings here. So first in the battery health, so you can see your battery health cycle just as we could. But also when it comes to charging, so you see you can also enable this optimized battery charging. So yeah, and by default, I'm not sure what was by default, but again, so you see you can actually like customize the charge limit you can set for this phone. So essentially it can stop charging at 80%, and really most wear for these batteries in the phones happens once you start maybe charging past 85%. So if you want basically the best still like juice, I would maybe also even use 90%. It probably will be just as good as maybe like 80 or 85%. So again, so it will simply like stop charging once you reach this limit, and in long term this will significantly increase your battery longevity essentially. So again, you can play around with those settings. As you see, also we can enable or disable various power modes here, and also go over here, obviously enable the battery percentage as well, so you can easily see at what percentage your battery is. Also, when it comes to wireless charging capabilities, also we get very nice upgrade on this phone this year as well. By the way, if you basically want to borrow juice from any other phone that maybe supports reverse wireless charging, we can obviously do it on this phone. So you see I have enabled on this phone. So if I place my iPhone on this one, so you see this phone starts to charge. Absolutely awesome. But still, if you're wondering if you can actually charge other devices from your iPhone, then still nope, in 2025 I think that's a bit ridiculous that they haven't actually included this feature. But however, you can actually charge still other devices if you simply connect it using the wired mode. So you see, for example, if I plug this in the iPhone, so yep, also obviously we get Type-C this year on these phones. So obviously the file transfers and stuff like that are going to be much better. So you see this phone is actually starting to charge now. So yeah, absolutely awesome. Also, when it comes to the battery life, this phone compared to the iPhone 16, if you check specs, also should give you maybe like extra 20% better battery life. So yeah, I think when it comes to battery life, this is probably one of the best phones you can get. Oh, also another huge upgrade of this phone this year also is we also get even anti-reflective display as well. So essentially in sun, basically, so it will be much better visible. And also obviously the extra brightness also helps that as well. But yeah, to get all these features at this price, I think that's absolutely insane. Again, we are also getting 256 gigabytes in this phone. And if you're wondering if you should get the new iPhone 17 or the 17 Pro, then I think for most people this is actually a much better phone. Not only it's way cheaper, but also when it comes to performance, it's really pretty much identical to the Pro version. Obviously on the Pro we get extra like camera, also maybe the sensors are tiny bit larger, but when it comes to actual camera performance, I would imagine they're pretty much identical really for the most part. Also again, one of the best battery life you can get in any phone. Also when it comes to speaker quality, these speakers are easily the best I have heard on any phone, so they're actually insanely good. And for its price, it also gets the 256 gigabytes in the base, so I think this phone is absolute bargain. Not only looks absolutely great, it's also like very solidly built. So the build quality really is top notch. Also absolutely amazing display. So really one of the best displays you can get on pretty much any phone. So again, compared to the past 16, this is insane upgrade actually in pretty much every way. Okay, good luck.